The following video is the beginning of a three-part series that goes over how to teach math classically. My name is Amos Tarfa. I'm a medical physicist and math and science curriculum writer. And right from a young age, I loved patterns and inspiring my classmates to love math. Grew up in Nigeria, came to the US, got my degree in chemistry and minor in philosophy. I got my master's in medical physics and medical health physics, completed a year of work in STEM education and also in physical chemistry on the PhD level. So that's a little bit of my background. I have been writing math curriculum now for about 15 years. And what I want to do in this three-part series is to show people how to take books like A Mathematician's Lament, how to take that seriously and bringing it into the classroom. Because what is happening in most classrooms right now, I'm sorry to say, is not mathematics. Mathematics is beautiful. And if students don't agree with what I just said, then I don't know what they're doing, right? Math is beautiful. It doesn't mean it will always be easy when you do the math problems, but you meet a lot of students who play basketball. Basketball is not necessarily always easy when you play it, but students will tell you, I love the game, it's beautiful. Okay, so what's wrong with mathematics? What's going on? Let's talk about that in this three-part series. The other thing I tried to explain is that when you're talking about classical education and bringing in things like lessons from wisdom and eloquence, bringing in lessons from Memoria Press or Virtuous Minds, if you want to bring all those principles into the math classroom, then you would want to watch this video to see how that's done. Lastly, I want to give us two practical takeaways. The first one is this is the book that Srinivasa Ramanujan read before he did his work. This is the book that inspired a lot of the work that he did. And so I want students to learn from some of the books that inspired some of the best mathematicians the world has ever known. And this is a good starting point. This is a great resource to show some of the history of and philosophy of mathematics. So my goal in this three-part series is to start the conversation about what mathematics is supposed to be about. So we want students to learn the history and philosophy of mathematics along with the math that they're learning. I'm available to support schools to rethink math education through some of my writings and some of the work that I do. So reach out if you have any questions. So how do we teach math classically in the AI revolution? There's this picture I have of like the time periods in history, which I've put together 4 specific time periods. Ancient history from 2024 BC to 476 AD, Middle Ages from 476 AD to 1476 and AD, and then 1476 to 1776, and early modern history, and then modern history from 1776 to 2026. See, in my math curriculum, we go up to wait till today. Like, I want kids to know what's going on today in math research. Like, when you're in a math classroom, it's really sad that many kids don't even know that they can be part of the story of math history. So we're going to talk about these time periods in history. And so my name is Amos Tarfa. I'm a medical physicist and math and science curriculum writer. As a medical physicist, of course, we use a lot of math. We have to know a lot of math and things like that. Medical physics is beautiful because it has interdisciplinary aspects to it. There's some chemistry, there's some physics, there's some mathematics. And I want to help students learn mathematics go as far as possible. I want them to reach their full potential. That's part of why I offer Saturday webinars. The next one is on March 28th, where we'll be talking about, is there such a thing as a math brain? It's at 10 a.m. Eastern every Saturday, twice a month now, but you could follow us on countingtocalculus.org and learn more about the webinars, countingtocalculus.org. But what I want to do in this episode is I'm going to talk about how to teach math classically in the AI revolution, raising the bar through history, rigor, and the trivium and quadrivium. Raising the bar through history, rigor, and the trivium and quadrivium. So how do we teach math classically? If you want my slides, reach out to me and I'll get to you the slides. So we have a crisis in math education. It's not foreign to say at this point. We have places where children are not fluent or proficient in math, large numbers of students. It's very, very concerning, right? But for me, the problem is the fact that math is actually very gettable, I call it. It's gettable, it's beautiful, and yet so many children don't do well in math. Why? Why do children not do well in math? Well, there's a few reasons I think we don't take into account, and I'll discuss it. I've thought about math education since 1996. You're going to wonder, but Amos, you're not even that old. Well, here's the thing. When I was in 3rd grade, back in around 1996, I was doing math problems and creating math problems for my classmates to help them learn how to do math. I was writing out examples. I was trying to explain. So I've always loved math. Now, I wasn't a prodigy that found it all easy all the time. There were times where I struggled. When I encountered certain types of equations, I struggled. My brother helped me get through it, and the rest is history. So it's important that we note that math, like the question of why kids struggle in math literally is part of what runs through my mind all the time. And I'll tell you a few reasons why. So we have made math easy, and in doing so, we've made some of it so easy, like we've done some of the thinking for the children. We've over-scaffolded in some cases, and therefore the students don't learn how to handle struggle or challenges when they get to challenges. We need to find a way to allow children to face some challenges and then help them get to the next level. So modern curricula is partly responsible for this. No struggle for some kids initially, and then they start struggling, and then they think, I'm not a math person. I don't have the math brain, which we're going to talk about a lot more in our webinar. But students need to learn math judgment. Students need to learn how to think for themselves. They need to build that muscle, which leads me to one of the first things I'm going to say that's going to come as a shock to many people. I think we need to make calculus 2 and 3 required. Well, not required, but we're going to make calculus 1 required by law. That's my first recommendation. Calculus, statistics, linear algebra, discrete mathematics, and data science need to all be required before the end of 12th grade. But if you wanted to really know what Amos is thinking, I'm going to add Calc 2, Calc 3, and differential equations to the list. Amos, why are you doing this to K-12 students? Like, why are you raising the bar? That's painful, Amos. Here's why. Because it might be our only hope to get them exercising their mental faculties. If we don't raise the bar, like raising the bar is part of the only answer right now. Like, just think about a student who gets their homework, right? Misuses AI. I said misuses because some of that work, they were supposed to do it by hand, but they went and used AI to do it. And now they have an answer, but AI made their work so easy for them, and they turned it in, and they move on with their lives, and they might have an A, and so the teacher is happy, the student seems happy, and the parent is happy. Everybody seems happy, except there's one problem. Their mental faculty was not exercised. But if we raise the bar, now they have to put in some effort. Parents and educators, I think we have a problem. Before AI came, I used to talk about, or before I was aware of some of the AI tools, please don't, I hope nobody thinks that I'm saying AI doesn't have some applications for research and so on and so forth. There are places where AI is useful. Don't get me wrong. Now, for most kids, elementary school students, middle school students, even a lot of high school students, they're not ready to use some of these tools. They've not sharpened their mental faculties. They've not learned philosophy. They've not learned ethics. They've not learned to reason clearly. They've not learned to read great books of Western civilization. They've not wrestled with the great ideas. The mind needs to be sharpened and ready to be able to take a tool like AI and use it effectively. But let me go back. Before the AI revolution, boom, and all of that, do you know I used to talk about this idea I heard called cognitive offloading? When you asked people what is the capital of France, a lot of people, again, well, maybe not that specific question, but they would go quickly and say, let me Google it. They were not thinking for themselves or trying to wrestle with ideas. They had something to help them do the thinking. But even, let me Google it, okay, that wasn't ideal, but that tool of Google is nothing compared to AI. Nothing. Why is this a problem? Because if we don't raise the bar, there will be mental atrophy, so to speak, on massive numbers, whereby students will get to a point where they won't be able to think. And we will have to get some sort of therapy to help them learn to begin to try to think. We have to move fast. And my first recommendation is we have to raise the bar. But the education system is not, maybe that might come as, oh, Amos, why would you want to raise the bar? Take it easy. Because that might be our only hope for getting kids to think. Thank you for watching that video. If you want the full video, you can find it on the YouTube page of Counting to Calculus. We have the full video there. And if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching again, and look forward to helping more students to learn mathematics from a classical perspective. Take care and have a blessed day.